So the title of today's sharing is Building the Bridge and Other Principles of Sacred Entrepreneurship. So building the bridge is something that's been coming up a lot for people already in this space, so I wanted to dive deeper into it. I'm really trying to attune this container to your needs. So, I'm really listening to your feedback. So please continue to let me know what you want to dive deeper into. But building the bridge is one of my favorite ways of reframing business, because the word business, words are magic spells, and words take on certain energies and certain connotations and sometimes certain stickinesses and heavinesses. And even just using the traditional vocabulary of business can often create energetic, magical blockages for us, because the words themselves contain certain associations that feel limiting to us, or feel paralyzing or sticky or out of integrity. So words like, business, money, sales, marketing, funnels, a lot of us might have not the best associations around some of these words. Maybe we have good associations. It's not to say that the words themselves are inherently bad, but I think it's very useful to reframe some of these concepts. So for me, building the bridge is a great way to reframe marketing. You could say marketing can be reframed as simply building a bridge so that the people you're trying to reach with anything you're trying to do in life, really any movement you're trying to build, any message you're trying to get out there, any service or offering you're trying to bring to the world cannot find out about it unless you build the bridge somehow. You need to build a bridge so people can find and discover your medicine and understand why it's for them. And then if it is for them, you can take them by the hand, help them more deeply understand why it is for them, and then guide them across the bridge into deeper levels of your vortex or your ecosystem. And that guiding process, that invitation process, could be a way of reframing quote unquote sales. Sales is really just an invitation to walk across the bridge and step into deeper layers of the vortex or the ecosystem of offerings and services that you are creating. So we're going to talk about building the bridge today. So first, I'm going to dive into 4 ways. Just a moment here, pausing that. No, that's fine, I guess. I'm going to dive into 4 ways to build the bridge so people find and recognize your medicine. And again, this is very specifically geared toward coaches, space holders, transformational entrepreneurs, because that is the bulk of the tribe that we've been building here. This is something a lot of us are interested in, so it's focused on that, and it's also the area where I have the most expertise, because that's been my primary domain of entrepreneurship for the last 12 years or so. So here we go. So building the bridge, way number 1. Gift 50 people 3 one-on-one sessions with you. In this approach, you simply reach out directly to around 100 to 200 people you know until you find 50 candidates who are happy to receive 3 one-on-one sessions. You can let them know you'd love to receive a written 2 to 3 sentence recommendation if they find value in the work. And you can send them a pre-framing email once they book in that can frame things in a professional way that makes it more likely for them to become a client or refer others. I'll send you a template for this. I've created some templates. I'll send those to you guys after this call. Through doing this, you'll likely clarify your medicine, gain confidence, embody your space holding role, find ongoing clients, and get referrals over time. Realize that 150 hours of service is a small commitment relative to the benefit. So this last sentence I find really important. Realize that 150 hours of service is a small commitment relative to the benefit. You may have heard that it takes around 10,000 hours to become a master of something. You have to put in about 10,000 hours of training and practice. So I generally find that a lot of coaches and space holders seem resistant to really diving in and just serving and just giving. People kind of put the cart before the horse, and without even really having clarified their medicine or without even really having practiced that much, they just want to immediately start pulling, 4 and 5 figure clients out of the woodwork. They want people to just start throwing money at them for their services. And yeah, again, that's kind of putting the cart before the horse, because we need to dive in, we need to experience service, and it's really through the service that we're going to hone in on what our medicine is. It's through the service that we're going to start to gain mastery, we're going to gain confidence, we're going to step into the energy of one who is really doing the damn thing, one who's really doing this, who really is this, who's embodying this. So I would just invite you to just kind of reframe like giving service as a really good way to just give a gift from the heart, and also serve people and gain experience and kind of plant a lot of seeds of impact. You're impacting a lot of people through something like this. And as you impact more and more people, there will be kind of a blossoming network effect of people wanting to work with you. So for example, in this case, if you do 3 one-on-one sessions with 50 people, and if your medicine is potent, a certain segment of those people are very likely to say, wow, those 3 sessions were really beneficial for me. What would it look like to continue working with you on an ongoing basis? And then you can talk to them about some kind of container that you could do together. It could be session by session, it could be month by month, it could be like a 6-month or 1-year container. However you want to set it up, there's different ways to do that. But very likely this type of service would already result in some clients, and it would likely result in referrals over time. Again, you're going to gain confidence, you're going to clarify your medicine, embody your space holding role. You're going to get recommendations, testimonials, which you can then use to educate others about the value of your service. So something like this can be a really good way to go. And on the next slide here, I've actually got a template just to share an idea of what this could look like. When you reach out to people one-on-one with something like this, you could just say something like, "Hey there, Sally, how are you? I'd love to hear any updates on how your journey's been flowing. Sending love." Say, "I thought of you because I'm currently in the process of launching my coaching practice, and I'm looking for practice clients who would like to receive a gift of 3 free sessions with me." And then it says, "You may want to include 1 to 2 sentences here on what form of coaching you offer and how it can help people, though it's also totally fine to keep things vague or general, especially if you're still honing in on what your exact medicine is." And then the template continues, "The only thing I would request in return is, if the sessions are valuable, I'd love it if you'd write a 2 to 3 sentence recommendation of my work that I can share publicly. This is really helpful for educating others about the value of what I offer. And if it ever organically arises, it would also be wonderful if there's an openness to refer people to my work if you feel like I could help them. No requirement to do so whatsoever, just an openness if you find my work valuable. I'm curious if you feel a spark around this, or does anyone else come to mind who may be interested in receiving 3 gifted coaching sessions? Thank you for taking the time to read and consider this. Blessings to you always. With love, your name," whatever that is, Jordan in this case. So this is an example. If you sent 200 people a message like this, very likely you'd be able to find 50 people who would be happy to do 3 gifted sessions with you. So maybe you would do that over the course of a 3 or 4 month period or something like that, steadily reaching out to a few people per day, sending a message like this, and, diving in and serving people and allowing it to blossom from there. And you can see how from the beginning, if you already plant this seed of that you'd love to receive a 2 or 3 sentence recommendation, you can already know you're going to start collecting testimonials, which are really valuable for you in educating others about your service. And you can also plant the seed of just letting people know that it's great if they're open to refer others if they find your work valuable. And you can make it clear, like there's no requirement, there's no obligation to do that. But if it organically arises and there's someone you feel it would be great to refer to me, it'd be awesome if there's an openness to do that. So that's just one example of how you could build the bridge. And a lot of, this one and some of the other ones I'm going to share are kind of geared toward people who may not have a large audience. You know, if you already have a large audience or a large platform, you may not want to go this route. It's probably easier to just send out messaging directly to your email list or your platform and just make offers directly to them. However, the vast majority of people aren't in that position, right? Don't have the luxury of having a large platform. So this is an example. Almost everyone in the world knows 200 people, you know, and most of us actually by this point have, you know, well over 1,000 friends and followers across different platforms. So there's really no excuse not to be able to send out a couple hundred messages like this. And if you find that there's a lot of resistance to doing this, that's a good place to just stop and ask yourself, why do I have so much resistance to this? Where am I not believing in my medicine? Why don't I believe in the value of building the bridge so that people can find and experience my medicine? Why do I find it out of alignment, or why do I have resistance to just simply educating people about what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do? And I also missed the PS at the bottom. So PS, if you'd prefer not to receive notes like this about my work, feel welcome to let me know. My intent is to be of service. So I usually like to add a PS like this to just give people the option to opt out of receiving notes about creations or services of mine, because I just want them to feel like they're not going to be hit with a never-ending barrage of messages from me if they don't want those. I would much rather have them just tell me, hey, I'd rather not hear about this. And then it's like, okay, cool. Take good care. So that's pathway number one, option for building the bridge. Building the bridge, way number two. This one may look familiar. Host a gifted/free approximately 4-week experience that leads toward an invitation to continue. So, you know, that's clearly what I'm doing in this container. So as it says here, this is exactly what I've done with Lionheart. So you can study the approach closely as you're experiencing it. I love this approach because it gives a large gift, leads with enormous value, showcases your medicine, and gives people full sovereignty to discern if your work is meant for them before they ever invest a dime to work with you. This is really cool, and for me feels key to the future of transformational containers. It's also cool because it may only require, you know, approximately 6 hours of leading live sessions, yet the impact can be huge. Many people can experience your medicine at once. So this is something interesting to consider, the scalability of your time. You know, it's good as an entrepreneur to be asking, how can I maximize the impact of my time? How can I reach more people and impact more people with smaller amounts of time? Because time is one of our most precious resources, right? We have finite time on this earth, and if we can accomplish more with fewer hours, that's generally good from an entrepreneurial perspective of efficiency in building what we're trying to build. So in the case of way number one, it was like 150 hours to impact 50 people, but in this case, it could be 6 hours of live sessions to impact those same 50 people in a really deep way. So you can kind of see this already points to the power of group containers. To me, for me at least, it seems significantly more difficult to build a workable, long-term sustainable income purely off of just one-to-one. Unless you have a pretty wealthy network and you know a lot of people who are willing to pay a premium price for one-to-one work, like $200 an hour or like $5,000 for a 3-month container or something. Unless you know a lot of people like that, then just do the math and realize, like, if you're charging can you guys hear me? I noticed Yeah, okay, cool. If you're charging $50 an hour for one-to-one, that means you're going to have to do 100 sessions in a month to make 5K per month. That's a lot of one-to-one sessions to do in a single month. It's possible, but it's like that's going to be a lot. And especially if you're trying to do texting with those clients as well in between sessions, it can become overwhelming. And so that's why personally I'm a big fan of group containers, and I'm a big fan of ongoing group containers as well, where people can stay as long as they want to. Because with ongoing containers, you get out of the perpetual launch cycle. You don't have to be launching something new every 3 months, promoting a new container and trying to get people to join it. You just launch once, and if you design it in the right way, people can just join at any time over time, and you never have to really launch again. You can maybe do ongoing soft launches, or in the case of something like Lionheart, I'm thinking of doing something where every 2 or 3 months, one of the sessions will be open to the public, so anyone from the outside can hop in and experience the container, and that can just naturally act as an access point where anyone can check it out and experience it, and it should just function as an ongoing way to continuously build the bridge, let people get a taste of the medicine, realize that it's fucking awesome, and then decide to hop in and enjoy more of it, So that's why I like group containers. And so yeah, I think this type of model can work really well. So yeah, if you like this idea, then just pay close attention to what I'm doing here with Lionheart and feel welcome to just replicate any aspect of it. You're totally welcome to. And yeah, I mean, one note is that group work, I would say it's probably more of an edge for most people to lead a group container. Probably most people have more nervousness around, public speaking in front of 20, 30 people than they do around an intimate one-to-one call. So you got to feel into your level of comfort. But, I think once you get to that point of being comfortable with that, group work is really something to strongly consider. It's also just really fun and powerful and impactful. And here's an example template of reaching out to someone about a gifted 4-week experience. This is very similar to the actual template that I use to reach out to some people about Lionheart. So some of you may have received a message similar to this from me. I often do customize messages to people, but I'll kind of create a template so I don't have to rewrite the message every time. So you could just say something like, "Hey Susie, how are you, my friend? Would love to hear any updates on your journey. Truly hope this finds you well. Sending love." Say, "I also felt an inspiration to drop you a note about a gift I'm giving to my communities, an upcoming free 4-week course I'm leading called Lionheart Leadership. Starting in 5 days on November 27th, it's an accelerator for creators, space holders, coaches, leaders, and conscious entrepreneurs. The intent is to help leaders and creators rise to their next level. You're welcome to join at any point during the 1-month journey and to participate as much as you're called to. At the end of the 4 weeks, you're fully welcome to part ways if you feel you received what you needed, or if you feel called to keep going. There will likely be an invitation to continue on a sliding scale monthly subscription basis that meets you where you are. Curious if this resonates. It'd be wonderful to be back in sacred space with you." So, obviously you say that if you've been in sacred space with the person before. And if you like, you can already join us simply by hopping into the official Lionheart Leadership Telegram channel here. With love, Jordan. And once again, P.S. if you prefer not to receive notes like this about creations of mine, feel welcome to let me know. My intent is to be of service. So again, I'm going to send you guys all these templates in a Google Doc, so no need to try to copy this down. So I'll just send this for you to look at. But yeah, I mean, if you create some kind of gifted experience and you send out 200 invitations like this, there's a good chance that you're going to find a decent chunk of people who are like, yeah, heck yeah, I'm up for a free 4-week course. And yeah, that's nice that I can consider potentially continuing after 4 weeks if I want to, or I can just part ways. So it's another good way to go. Building the bridge way number 3. Find partners who can refer people to you. So examples of this, if you are a psychedelic integration coach, I'm just going to check the comments here. I see some people writing some stuff. Awesome, Lorene. Yeah, so find partners who can refer people to you. Examples of this: if you're a psychedelic integration coach, reach out to 100 retreat centers asking if they need support with integration and want to partner, and receive a referral percentage for every client they send your way. If you are a divorce or relationship coach, reach out to 100 divorce lawyers and do the same. Ask if they feel their clients could use specialized emotional support and offer a partnership. Or if you're a health coach, for example, reach out to doctors or medical professionals and offer to partner in a similar way. So whatever your specialty is, whatever your niche is, you can ponder on, okay, who are some professionals who are likely to be seeing my ideal client, my soul client? What other types of professionals are my soul clients likely to be seeing? And can I partner with these professionals to create a mutual win-win situation where their clients get more support and they receive, a referral percentage for anyone they refer my way? And I have a template for this one too. And just to kind of show you the coolness of what AI can do at this point, I made this template in like 20 seconds with AI. I just opened up ChatGPT and all I said to it was, use this template to craft a similar template I could use as a coach to reach out to 100 retreat centers, ask if they could use help with integration support, and pitch my coaching as a solution for helping their clients to integrate after psychedelic journeys, suggest that they could receive a referral percentage for everyone they send my way. And then I copied and pasted the previous template that I had shown you on one of the previous slides. So I gave it kind of something to work with so it would have a sense of my voice. And then it just immediately, spits out a really solid template that could be used for this. So subject line, supporting your clients with integration. Hi, Michelle. I hope this message finds you well and that things are flowing beautifully at retreat center name. Let's say Sequoia Healing Center. I deeply admire the work you're doing to facilitate transformative experiences for your participants. Thank you for holding such an important space. I'm reaching out because I specialize in coaching that supports integration after powerful psychedelic journeys. I know how crucial this phase is for anchoring insights and creating lasting positive change. I wanted to ask if you might be open to collaborating. I'd love to offer my services as a resource for your clients to help them navigate the integration process. This could include providing ongoing support to help them unpack their experiences, integrate their insights into daily life, and continue their journey of transformation. To make it a win-win, I'd also be happy to offer Sequoia Healing Center a referral percentage for anyone you send my way who chooses to work with me. I'm actually going to pause here because there's one other thing I didn't mention on one of the previous slides that before it slips my mind, I want to mention. When it comes to creating like a gifted 4-week experience for people, like a group program, if you really wanted to supercharge that, you could create paid ads and direct people toward the free 4-week experience. So like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, and you could pour a certain budget into that. You wouldn't want to pour too much money into that until you had some experience testing the ads and finding out that they were actually working. But that could be a really good strategy because a free 4-week experience that's targeted toward a specific person is going to be a really appealing offer. And very likely it'd be pretty easy to get a lot of people to sign up for that through Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And then you have an amazing opportunity there to provide this gifted experience to potentially hundreds of people. And then very likely, if you do a good job, a certain segment of those people are going to say, hell yeah, this is awesome. I want to keep going with this. So I just wanted to mention that too. So to read the rest of this template here, to make it win-win, I'd be happy to offer a referral percentage for anyone you send my way who chooses to work with me. Does this resonate with you, or do you think this is something that might benefit your clients? I'd love to explore ways we can partner to better serve the people who come through your retreats. Thank you so much for considering this. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts and wishing you continued success in all the amazing work you do. With warm regards, Jordan. P.S. If this isn't something you're currently looking for, no worries at all. I'm grateful for the chance to connect and share the idea. So this is just an example of how ChatGPT is incredibly powerful at this point. The AI is incredibly powerful. So I know I would recommend, if you create a template like this, you probably want to rewrite it a little bit so that it feels authentic to your voice, or maybe even take the time to rewrite the whole thing. But you can just very quickly get a really good template just from an AI like this. And if you sent this to 100 retreat centers, especially if you have any kind of credentials you can include, if you can include like a PDF that breaks your services down a bit more and has testimonials and shows people like, hey, this is the 8-week integration program that I would love to take your clients through. I've been developing this the last couple of years, and it touches on all the major areas of holistic well-being, something like that. Very, very likely you're going to find some retreat centers that want to partner with you, because this is, personally, I think this is a really underutilized approach right now, because in my experience, psychedelic retreat centers are not good at integration. They're having tons of people come through and receive and have life-altering, massive entheogenic experiences, and then there's very little follow-up a large amount of the time. And this is actually a large disservice that these retreat centers are doing, to have no follow-up and integration coaching. So something like this presents a huge opportunity for any kind of integration coach or life coach, or really any kind of coach. I mean, it's of course great. I probably wouldn't recommend this unless you at least have a decent number of psychedelic experiences under your belt. But really, the best thing for integration when it comes from a coaching perspective is really just to have that loving space of unconditional love, where you can really share what's coming up for you, and it can be held in a space of love, reflected back to you, and questions can be asked of you to help you access your own inner wisdom. So really, any space holder could potentially do that. So just another example of a way a bridge could be built. And the last one here on the 4 ways to build the bridge: be a prolific creator, build an email list, build real relationships, and make offers to your audience. This is not a short-term strategy. It's really not. It requires building trust over time and building real relationships. It's a long game, yet it can pay great dividends over time. Creatorship can lead to passive income if you turn your creations, your art, into books, music, podcasts, YouTube videos, or self-guided courses. All of those can become new income streams and potentially passive income streams if you're able to grow them to a decent level. And a quick side note I included in here: other forms of passive income can come from investing in various things, such as Bitcoin or index funds or property. I wouldn't recommend investing in Bitcoin right now, because it's at its all-time high, nearly $100,000, but probably after this bull run, it'll drop back down to somewhere in the, I would guess, 50 to 60K range, and that'd probably be a good moment to buy some Bitcoin and just hold on to it for 5 to 10 years. Yeah, anywho, not investing advice, as they always say, but yeah, at the same time, just felt like mentioning that because people were curious about forms of passive income. Yeah, I've had success investing in Bitcoin since 2017, and yeah, index funds also a great investment. Buying property, there's many ways that property can be a great investment. If you buy in a good location, the value of property goes up over time. It can be a generational asset you pass on to your kids. You can rent out rooms in a property to earn money. You can grow food on a property to earn money. You could build a sauna or some kind of healing setup on a property and earn money by offering healing services or something like that. So property can be a good investment too. Anywho, after that side note, this approach of prolific creation will only likely work if you focus on passion and you come from intrinsic motivation. Most people simply do not persist long term in this because they're not coming from that wellspring of intrinsic motivation. If you try to contrive this, or you try to force this, or create content around something you're not truly passionate about, forget about it. It's not going to last, but almost certainly. Or if it does, you'll probably hate it. So just create around what you actually love, what you want to create. And as you build an audience, you can start making offers to them, either directly offering paid experiences or services, or if you're smaller, if you have a smaller platform, start with free or gifted or donation-based one-to-one or group opportunities, such as those we already discussed today. And that's how you can build the bridge, show people the value of your medicine. So, yeah. So this is a path that I've taken. I've been prolifically creating online for the last 12 years or so. And yeah, it's very rewarding to do so. I mean, doors open that you never would have expected. I met my wife because of my prolific online creativity and in real life creativity, creating psychedelic retreats. She found me due to my activity in the psychedelic retreat space, and then she interviewed me for a podcast, and we just didn't want to stop talking. And so that's how we met and ended up getting married in an ayahuasca ceremony at Kumankaya Healing Center, which was fun, having my family present as I'm purging from the depths of my soul. Very interesting wedding night. Yeah, so, I just generally recommend creativity and art because for me, there's so many benefits of just letting your soul shine and letting your soul dance and creating prolifically. And if you do it in, if you apply a certain pragmatism, a certain wisdom, if you funnel that creativity into the medium of business, if you see business as an artistic medium with certain boundaries, certain rules of the game, and you just let that pure artistry channel into that medium, you can actually, take your prolific creativity and turn it into a business model and generate income and opportunities from it. So that's another way to build the bridge. But again, that's a long-term strategy. It's not like, you've never posted before and you make your first post saying, buy my thing, I'm offering coaching now. Very likely you're going to get crickets because you haven't established any sense of trust. You haven't over time positioned yourself as, someone with a certain level of mastery or understanding or expertise or wisdom in a certain area. You haven't built real relationships. Yeah. So it's a long game. All right, so those are the building the bridge slides, and I've got a couple more slides here. This next one is on developing fearlessness, clarity, and confidence in your medicine. So potentially a little tough love here, or a message that a lot of coaches may not want to hear, but here it is. Fearlessness, clarity, and confidence in your medicine are found simply through action. In my experience, there is no real hack for this. Wise entheogenic healing or other healing and awakening modalities may help to unlock clarity and confidence, but you'll still need to act, and it will still be confronting. You dissolve the fear of being seen by letting yourself be seen, repeatedly leaning into it. You expand your zone of competence by leaning into edges repeatedly. You get clear on your medicine by diving in and serving. Take whatever next step you can handle and just keep moving forward. Seeing your work impact people and receiving testimonials will help build your confidence in what you offer. So yeah, this is just kind of saying there really are no shortcuts, or maybe there are, but in my experience, shortcuts also tend to come with their own unexpected karmic consequences. Kind of reminds me of Coda the Friend lyric where he's like, yeah, I know the shortcuts, rather take the long way. So yeah, this is just kind of a testament to the power of just leaning into the long road. I mean, you don't have to see it as a long road, but in a sense it is the road of developing mastery, confidence, bravery, and clarity through just repeatedly doing the thing. Not looking for the hack, not looking for the shortcut, but just repeatedly leaning in and serving and acting, letting yourself be seen, putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Through doing that, you will develop all the capacities that you're wanting to have, but there's no hack for suddenly leaping into mastery, clarity, confidence, and fearlessness when you've barely even started. It is going to be confronting for a while. It is going to be hard. There's pretty much no way around that. I mean, unless you're just a super normally confident and fearless person from day one, it's just very likely going to be confronting, and it's very likely going to continue to be confronting at different stages, you know? Every time I launch a new container, there's a level of confrontingness. When I did the session for you guys last week, there was a level of nervousness beforehand of like, oh dang, new thing, new container, new group of people. I hope I don't hope I don't make a fool of myself. Whatever, the same old fears resurface like beluga butts, as I once said in a rap song, resurface like whale fins. The fears resurface, and you just keep leaning into them. You keep leaning into the edges, and you just keep doing the thing, and that's how you develop the capacity. So yeah, no hacks, just good old-fashioned warrior medicine there. And the last thing I want to touch on today, in the presentation portion here is under the heading of 80-20, identifying high leverage actions. So yeah, 80-20 refers to the Pareto principle. If you've never heard of it, it's also known as the 80-20 rule. And basically what the 80-20 rule is this notion that it's really 20% of our actions and inputs that create 80% of our desired results in any domain. And it may even be more like 90-10, like 10% of our actions actually create the desired results or the vision that we're looking for. So what that means is if we can hone in, if we can dial in on what are those 10 to 20% of actions that really move the needle, we can quantum leap forward. We can make progress much faster as entrepreneurs, as leaders in any domain. So what it says here is most entrepreneurs spend most of their time on stuff that is not moving the needle. A lot of this is self-sabotage. If you aren't earning sufficient income to live on, there are really only 3 things you should be doing as a coach or transformational entrepreneur. You should be doing direct outreach, making offers, and or finding a job to give yourself more runway and breathing room, because it's hard to build a business from a space of desperation and financial disempowerment. So don't spend tons of time making content or building a course in the background if you have very little financial runway. Instead, you need to be leaping into serving people, having a ton of conversations with people, giving your medicine, and inviting people to join things. Enrolling people, for example, in a first version of something and building as you go. I think I mentioned this last time, like not spending a ton of time building something before you even find out if people want the thing. For example, some people would think about something like Lionheart Leadership and they'd be like, oh, okay, I need to spend the next 6 months designing this 1-year course called Lionheart Leadership, and I'm going to pour so much into this. And they spend a ton of time designing the thing before they even find out if people want the thing. Whereas the way that I approach this is flip that on its head and design almost nothing beforehand. Just basically download the vision, download the energetic signature, get clear on the macro picture of things, and then invite people into it and make sure people actually want to join the thing. And then it ends up being better anyway, because you can just build it responsively in response to what people are actually saying in the container, the feedback they're actually giving you, what they actually want to learn about. You can then design it and build it as you go in response to their real-time questions, rather than designing something in a dark room cut off from the world, and it turns out that 80% of the content you put in the thing wasn't even relevant to people. So this is a very different way of going about things than many people do. But if you think about it, it just makes a lot more sense. So yeah, usually when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's like the things that you should really be doing, or the things that will probably move the needle, are probably the things you have the most resistance to doing. So people will spend ages just kind of checking email and replying to email and making yet another social media post or yet another blog post without really leaning into serving people, having a lot of real conversations with people, and inviting people into experiences, creating experiences and containers and inviting people into them, and just repeatedly iterating on that, repeatedly experimenting with that until you find things that work. And as I said in the last session, use familiar frames as well. So, it's very unlikely to work if you just suddenly are offering your Facebook friends an Akashic super galactivation for 5D star children. Nobody's going to know what that means, So like I used last time, for me, the frame of men's work has worked really well. Men's work is a modality many men are familiar with, and that's become a core pillar of my work because it's a modality that's impacted millions of men for the better. It's a proven modality for men. And so it's easy to build the bridge and say, hey, I've been doing men's work for a couple of years. We've got something pretty cool going on here. Are you interested in checking it out? Rather than trying to explain something that's like a concept no one's ever heard of before. So yeah, I recommend using frames that people will be familiar with for anything you're offering. And yeah, again, as it says here, you got to be radically honest with yourself as an entrepreneur. Like if you have very little financial runway, or if you are in debt, very likely that's not a good place to be trying to build a business from. It just really isn't. It's going to tend to be much harder because you're going to have very likely you're going to have levels of desperation, levels of shame, levels of not enoughness kind of emanating from that situation. And that energy in itself is going to tend to be repellent to what you're trying to build, because people don't like the feeling that someone is like, I need you to join my thing. Like, please join my thing. That's like the most repellent energy. I hate to say it, of this, neediness, because people want to join something where it just feels like, oh, it's a party over there. Like, wow, that's just overflowing with fun and joy and beauty over there. And wow, they look like they're just completely, whole within themselves and abundant and nothing, don't need anything from anything. I want to go hang out over there. I don't want to go hang out with, the beggars who look like they're down to their last scrap of clothing, unless I'm a sadhu and I'm ready to go live that lifetime and again, don't take any of this personally. It's just a colorful illustration of the point. But yeah, so you have to get honest. You have to get honest with yourself. And if you're financially really struggling, it's probably not the time to build a business. It's probably the time to get a job and, get. I see Laura like laughing her ass off there. Really, yeah, I guess this is the tough love, father wisdom coming through. I'm a dad now, so yeah, just there's a time in life to just get a job and get out of debt. And then when you're in a more empowered position, then build the dream business, Don't try to dig yourself out of a giant hole from a place of desperation. Just ain't going to cut it. Ain't going to get the job done. So yeah, so on that note, I think that's my last slide for today. So yeah, I'm gonna stop share here and would love to hear in this moment, people in the chat, if you guys want to take to the chat and give me a sense of what are you feeling in this moment, what's coming up, anything that you're feeling called to dive deeper into, any insights you're taking away. I'd love to hear anything like that in the chat, just to kind of get a pulse on the group and give you guys a chance to write something, which is always good for learning and affirming where you're at and what you're feeling. All right. So yeah, beautiful comments in here. Surprised that you're actually sharing these templates. Yes, happy to do so. Loving this, so on point. Awesome, Andrew. Brilliant approach to bridge. Thank you, Mariana. Laura sending some nice emojis. Thank you. Lorene, this deserves to be replayed 2 to 3 times. Get a transcript of. Beautiful. Thank you. Jay's asking, how do you know, for example, what course to create when you have multiple ideas about what you're passionate about? Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I can just quickly say to most likely you want to select the one that people are showing the most interest in. So most likely you want to try to survey some people in your audience or in your network and get a sense of what people respond to, and then give the people what they want. You know, this is a bona fide classic principle of entrepreneurship. You're not going to get anywhere as an entrepreneur if you try to give people what they don't want. You know, if people don't want something, they're not going to invest in it. So you want to ask people and find out, what do the people actually want? So interviewing potential soul clients can be really valuable for this, doing surveys. Even just getting a couple indicators can be really helpful. Also asking ChatGPT. Honestly, I had a really fruitful conversation with ChatGPT a few weeks ago where I just bounced a few ideas off it and was like, I think I was thinking what to name this program. I had a few ideas in mind for names, and it gave me a good list of pros and cons. So that's another way, is just to let ChatGPT be a mirror and say, give me the pros and cons of these programs and let me know, based on your understanding of humanity, what are people going to respond best to if this is my likely network. That could be valuable. Luca says, thanks, was really good. Thank you, JB. You're very welcome, brother. To repeat my earlier comment, you just streamlined everything I was trying to organize in my life in half an hour? Awesome. Thank you, David. I'm so glad to hear that. Alex says, this gives me a really solid level of applicable direction and structure to my currently scaling coaching practice, like real action steps that I needed more of. Awesome. Great to hear that, bro. Yeah, I tried to make this really practical. Pamela says, loving the insights I'm learning here. Your advice is thoughtful and makes sense to my logical brain. Beautiful. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. Yeah, even though, I can be kind of woo-woo, I also have a functional brain up here some of the time, I think. So that's nice to have. Lorene says, I second that, David. Beautiful. Tarzan says, thank you for sharing the ways on how to build bridges. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome, brother. Yeah, absolutely welcome. And I know that you're working on YouTube, Tarzan. So, with YouTube, I really think invitations at the end of videos, like inviting people on a next step, creating a free resource, like, hey, get my free ebook on masculine mastery for men. And they have to give you their email to get the free ebook. And then you start building your email list that way. Email list is such a valuable asset. Or, hey, join my free Telegram community for, kings who want to get jacked, or whatever it is. And very likely you're going to get people hopping in that community, and then you can start connecting to them one-to-one, building real relationships and offering value and inviting them into things. He is Chat JBT. Yeah, the sacred artificial intelligence. Laura says, just love the candor, and the offering is clear and brilliant. Would be great, I feel, for those attracted to perhaps create a, quote, practice space of these processes and ideas amongst a group such as this, or creating a workshop for practicing open, quote, coaching and reflecting, especially if folks really do wish to embody the coaching lifestyle. Yeah, beautiful. Great idea. And I do plan on doing different types of coaching exercises in this container as well. I plan to do breakout room type stuff. I plan to give people opportunities to do speeches and things like that, and really start leaning into your edges in this container. In these preliminary weeks, we're kind of feeling things out. We're laying the foundational groundwork, but especially as we keep going with this thing, you're going to have an opportunity to really develop yourself and hone your skills within this container itself as well. Yeah. And Joanna says, very on course for me now. By the way, Jordan, I've been tuning into you for a while, as I've been a student of Peter Brown, and I was a fairly radical non-dualist for a while, not anymore, and working in the underground when it was plant medicine scene for 40 years. Very cool, very cool. That's amazing. As you know, I absolutely love Peter Brown. God bless my late friend Peter, and his yoga, just unbelievable. highly recommend it for anyone who's interested in self-realization. His website is theopendoorway.org. Peter Brown. His books are incredible in audios. Chad says, reflecting on the first principles of the, quote, lone wolf journey with regards to this topic is powerful. I am on a lone wolf journey. I worked in chess under a franchise where I was unable to become the alpha wolf, didn't build the pack, could be part of it, but I could not have it as my own. However, I could make the choice to leave that pack with the purpose of eventually building my own wolf pack, and to build my pack, I needed to get my lone wolf space and build the bridge to find members of the pack. Recommended readings, The Challenger Sale and The Go-Giver. Beautiful, beautiful, yeah. Yeah, entrepreneurship can be quite a lone wolf journey. That's why it's great to have community. And there's also a lot of upsides to being a lone wolf. There's no bottlenecks of like, what I always hated about teamwork, to be honest, was all the bottlenecks of, oh, I can't do anything until I reach consensus with this team about what to do. I need other people's permission to just ignite and blast off like a meteorite. And that was never my style. I was like, I don't want your fucking goddamn permission. I just want to fucking blast off like a meteorite. So let me go, baby. So that's why I love solopreneurship personally. And you know, I still co-create sometimes too, but yeah. And Eddie says similar comments on building bridges. The things I need to do most are the things I feel most resistance to. It all seems so obvious reading it, but my fear clouds that clarity most of the time. Actually doing the doing. Yeah, beautiful comment, beautiful self-awareness, brother. It's nothing to feel ashamed of whatsoever, because it happens to all of us. It's like, it just is really hard to do the things that actually move the needle. Those are the most confronting things to do. So we find endless ways to do other things and play with bells and whistles and endlessly tweak our website or, you know, post another social media post without really just getting honest about what we really need to be doing. So yeah, great self-awareness. Gemma says free offering for email. Lead magnet, any thoughts on a video versus an ebook? Either one, totally good. A video or an ebook could be a great lead magnet. For anyone who doesn't know, a lead magnet is just a free download, like a free gift that someone gives you their email in exchange for. Can be anything, doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Could literally be something you already have, or it could be something you make in like 10 minutes. You could literally just write down like my top 10 principles for life mastery in 10 minutes, and you could make that your downloadable gift. So yeah, having a downloadable gift is a great way to begin building an email list. And if you're just getting started, every single email you get should be considered like gold. Like you should probably send a personalized email to every single person who joins your list and say, you know, use their name, write them a personal email and say, you know, welcome, give them some kind of welcome, let them know you're glad they're there, and ask if they'd like to hop on a call and get to know you better. Like really, you just want to be getting to know as many people as possible and connecting on a personal level, because that's really what builds the momentum over time. And that's how people taste the medicine. Again, you are the medicine. Your presence is the medicine. And just if they meet you and they feel your presence, they feel your love, they feel a good vibe, you know, they're going to be very likely to be responsive to any sort of invitation that you may send their way in the future. Yeah, if anyone has any additional questions right now, feel welcome to put them in the chat or raise hands. I can do Q&A for the last like 7 minutes here before we wrap the session and say a closing prayer. Jay asked in the chat, question about vulnerability and sharing your story as part of your brand. Is this helpful or not? How much is the right amount versus too much? Yeah, that's a really tricky one. It's a good question. You know, my style is really, this isn't necessarily what I recommend for everyone. I think everyone has to find their own balance on this. You have to find what feels true. Yeah, Connor, you're getting a recording of this. Yeah. You have to find what feels true for you. For me, I feel like it's very helpful to be very vulnerable. I mean, I don't even see it strategically. I don't really see it as a business strategy. I just see it as we're in a culture that's so fake and everything is so photoshopped and everyone is presenting just the highlight reel of, oh, look at my gorgeous Disneyland life that is always just so shiny and cool. And if you can crack through that falsity, that contrivance, and show a bit of your real pain, that's going to get people's attention because people are really suffering. This planet is full of very real suffering. And so to me, it's medicine for the people to show your pain and let people see the real shit you're going through. I think it's medicine that the planet needs. So coming from that space and not even seeing it as a business strategy, I think maybe a really high integrity space to come from, just understanding that telling our real story, which is what real art is all about, is just medicine. It's just medicine. And, and still you can have your boundaries. There's still things that I don't share about online. There's certain boundaries I have. Like I never go too much into really private details of physical intimacy with my wife or something online. For me, that's our sacred space, and not everybody needs to know about that. So you can have your boundaries, but I do recommend stretching your boundaries. And usually when it feels hard to press publish on a post, when it feels like, oh, it's an edge to press publish on this, I'm scared to be seen in this right now, that's usually one of the most important things that you'll post this year. It's just, and it's not to say it's always that way. Sometimes you're just super excited to publish and you just know it's a banger, and it is. But other times, sprinkling in a certain amount of, I'm scared to publish this right now because I feel really naked sharing this. That's like very likely, that's the stuff that like creates true fans. That's the stuff where people are like, holy fuck, this is my person. That was just too real. That was the realest thing I've ever read. Like, I love this person now. So I can recommend it, but yeah, everybody's got to find their own balance on that. For me, it's just more fun too. I wouldn't be able to handle not being real. I wouldn't be able to handle hiding my real life from people. That's not fun. That's not what art is about for me. I like the edge. So yeah, feel into it for yourself. Any final quick questions before we say a closing prayer here and wrap this one? Or shares, anybody want to unmute and shout out anything they want to share to the group in this moment? Laura says, really love your style, Jordan. Thank you again. The honesty really shines. Beautiful. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Great to have you here, Laura. Thank you.
Just a quick share of gratefulness for the good karma that seems to follow when I follow through on things that I really want to do. And last week I was feeling down, and then this week now I've acquired a new role as a tutor, which is going to help me build my skill set and feel a little bit more ownership of my service, and I can do that sort of on demand. And that's all arisen in just the past week of good mindset and looking for opportunities.
Woo! Booyah! Congrats, Chad. That's awesome. Boom, boom. Yeah, honestly, I typically notice that when we join high frequency containers with upward spiraling groups of people, there tend to be synchronistic blossoming effects in different areas of our life. Like there is a magic to containers when you've got 100 powerful souls directing positive light into a space, and you're charging up in that space and really connecting to it. It's very likely going to create cool stuff in your life. And the more that you open to that and believe that that's possible, the more that it is going to do that. Because, to a great extent, our beliefs create our reality. And if we believe it's not possible, then surely it isn't. But, if we just don't have any beliefs about reality and we're just like, oh, I'm just wide open, this could be anything, show me what's next. What's the next miracle, the next surprise? Then reality starts to become an endless banquet of surprises and miracles. Because that's what this moment is. This moment is a miracle. Have no doubt about it. How are we here? How is this even happening? How are we seeing each other right now? How is this moment materializing out of nothing? It's just like we are living a miracle. So it's cool. Let yourself feel that and just let it be a miracle. A few more final comments in the chat. Connor says, freaking love you. Thank you, bro. Much love. Love you too. Jonathan says, I appreciate you deeply, brother. Thank you for creating this beautiful space. You're very welcome, brother. Thank you for the amazing embodiment medicine. Jonathan also offers incredible trauma release massage. I had some of the most unbelievable releases years ago in Costa Rica, like ancient lifetimes of karma. So if you're anywhere near Vancouver, hit up Jonathan for trauma release massage. The man is a legend. And yeah, Joanna says, well done. Thank you. Much love. Pamela says, so much gratitude to you, Jordan, and everyone bringing such good energy to this space. You're very welcome. Much, much love. And Lorene says, Jordan, your message last week was in great timing. Yes, I believe in synchronicity. I'm feeling the shift. Wonderful, Lorene. Thanks, JB. Thank you, everyone. You're welcome, Mariana. Connor's in Vancouver. Very cool. Could be a synchronicity there. Follow the flow. And Lorene says she's going to catch up on last week's recording. Wonderful. Yeah, that one was pretty potent, I'd say, so go for it. Jay says, superb. Thank you so much, Jordan. So much value here in authenticity, which is hella refreshing. Wonderful. Beautiful. Connor says, how can I reach Jonathan? Yeah, you guys can find each other in the group, but yeah, okay, Jonathan put his email there. And Jonathan says, thank you, brother. I love you. Very welcome. Okay.
I'm sorry, who does the massage? Is that Connor or Jonathan?
Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Odin says, thank you, sending love to you and your family. Thank you, brother. Much love back to you. Back to you. And Alex says, I definitely feel hella refreshed from this today personally. Beautiful, beautiful. We're breaking out the fire hose. Just blasting off all the cobwebs. Let's go. Let's do this. All right. So I'm going to drop us into a closing prayer to close the space. We are at time. So thank you, everyone. Feel welcome to close your eyes, put a hand on your heart if you like, and take a couple deep, deep breaths from the belly, breathing with your whole body. And invite you to do a breath hold with us. So exhaling all the air from your lungs. Biggest breath of the day, holding at the top. Holding. Resting as pure light, holding. And giving it all back to source. Thank you, life. Thank you, God. Thank you, source. Thank you, truth. Thank you, radiant presence. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you, omnipresent majesty. Thank you, miraculousness. Thank you, tribe. Thank you, wonderful space. Thank you to all beings. May this energy ripple forth for the highest good, highest joy, highest fulfillment of all beings. May all beings know the true meaning of child joy and heartful peace and cozy bear hugs and jazzy hip hop, funkalicious, fresh bodaciousness. Thank you, God. Amen. Aho. Namaste. All right. Thank you, everyone. Feel welcome to unmute. Shout out any final words of silliness, playfulness, radiance, and we'll be on our way. Much love.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Lots of love.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.